Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thummala and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and in-depth analysis of trending editorials and articles which will be very useful for you in regards to helping you to crack prelims as well as mains examinations. So in this entire session, I would be focusing on the keywords and the key phrases from the editorials or the articles which will be very useful for understanding or identifying the factual and analytical questions. For factual and analytical questions in regards to the prelims examination, that is 2020 and 2021, and along with that, while we are imbibing the keywords, that is the keywords and the key phrases, definitely we will be imbibing that keywords and the key phrases, making sure that you are practicing or you're imbibing them in the answer writing, which will be very useful for you in regards to the mains. And while you are using this for your mains, your answers would be very much concise and precise, which is demanded by the UPSC in regards to the mains examination. So definitely by imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, that is for your mains examination, so your answers would be precise and concise, and whereby you will be scoring high marks in the mains, that is for prelims 2020 and also mains 2020 and also 2021. So definitely my session will be helpful in regards to having greater access to prelims as well as mains examination. And before that, you have a notification, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English, which is India's largest learning platform. And once you get subscribed, you will have unlimited live and recorded courses from the India's best educators. And the privileges you get once you subscribe are the daily live classes, live test, daily live classes, live tests and quizzes, structured courses, and unlimited access to all the live and recorded courses. And these are the educators at Unacademy, which you can also see it on your screen. And in regards to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English, the courses offered are economy, geography, current affairs, and all other courses which you can also see it on your screen. And along with that, you have the essay writing, you have internal security, and also social issues, which will be part of your course in regards to the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. And coming to the Let's Crack UPSC CSE English subscription, you have 12 months of subscription, wherein the price for 12 months is 44,000. And while you use my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10, you'll get 10% discount on the 44,000, which is original price, and the discounted price would be 39,600. So do use my code SBT10 while you are subscribing for 12 months, wherein you'll get 10% off on the 44,000 for the 12-month subscription. And also you have the 24-month subscription, wherein the original price is 64,000, that is for Let's Crack UPSC CSE subscription. And use my code SBT10. Please use my code SBT10, wherein you will get 10% discount on the original price, that is 64,000, and the discounted price would be 57,600. So definitely take the maximum benefit by using my code, that is SBT10 Sandeep Bhushan Thummala, wherein you will get 10% discount on the 12 months subscription, wherein 44,000 is the original price. But when you use my code, you will get the fees only for discounted price, that is 39,600, and the 24 months original price is 64,000. And when you use my code SBT10, you will get 10% off on the 64,000, and the discounted price would be 57,600. And in regards to the today's topic, that is in-depth analysis of the trending editorials article, I would be emphasizing on the, again I reiterate that I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, which will be certainly useful for prelims as well as mains examination. So definitely my focus would be on emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, which will certainly make you equipped in regards to clearing prelims and also scoring high marks in the mains examination. And before I get into the topic, I would say very good morning to everyone who is in the live and also in the live chat. Good morning, Satya. Good morning, Shravani. Good morning, Hemant. And today we'll be discussing about the article which talks about a case for Kuwait diplomacy. So definitely we have seen the kind of face off or standoff between the India and China troops uh, along the LAC. We have seen along the LAC at 4 points, especially the 4 points that is at the Pyongyang Lake, Galwan Valley, and then Demchuk, and also in Nakula Pass. In Nakula Pass. So definitely the three are in the eastern Ladakh, and this is in the Sikkim region. So definitely all these four have been taken place along the LAC, that is line of actual control between India and China. So definitely we have seen the face off which has started between India and China, or the Indian Chinese troops, was on the May 5th, and it's been more than a month that the face off is still going on, even though there were partial disengagement of the troops at the Galwan Valley, but still the Pyongyang Lake, and also in the Demchuk, and also in the Nakula Pass, still the issue stands, that is the disengagement or the partial disengagement is not still happening at the LAC, at the Pyongyang Lake, and also at the Demchuk, and also at the Nakula Pass. So definitely there is a face off, there is a standoff between India and China's troops. So what is very important at this juncture is that we need to get into the mode of diplomacy, where we need to clear the issue, we need to resolve the issue. So definitely both the countries have come up with trying to have the military engagement and also the diplomatic engagement. Please do understand these two key phrases or the keywords. So India has gone ahead, both the countries have gone ahead with trying to identify the issues and then resolve the issues by engaging in the military engagement and also through the diplomatic engagement. But still we can see that still something is missing, that the total engagement has not taken place, that is only partial engagement of the troops have taken place. So what is very important is the diplomacy has to be into the right mode, wherein the issue is resolved forever. At least for now the issue has been resolved, because we have seen a lot, I mean, since 2013, 2014, 2017, again 2020. Also, we have seen the kind of phase of or the standoff skirmishes between India and China. But what is important at all these times is diplomacy, and what kind of diplomacy is working out between India and China is the quiet diplomacy. And instead of having a public demand, or instead of having a rhetoric speech, instead of having a public demand or a rhetoric speech, what is really working out for India and China in trying to resolve the issues between India and China, that is the line of actual control, is no doubt, undoubtedly, it is quiet diplomacy. So there is a diplomacy which is happening between, or you can say the back channel diplomacy, or else in regards to the backdoor diplomacy, which is a quiet diplomacy, but still the things are being resolved, the issues are being resolved. So this is very important in regards to making sure that the quiet diplomacy is the one which is actually the India's foreign policy, in making sure that we are resolving the issue which are between the India and China troops, which is really causing a concern. So in depth we will look at what are the various issues which are really important for us to make sure that we are into the mode of resolving the issues quietly, quietly, and not through a, what do you say, public debate or rhetoric speeches from both the sides, that is from the opposition and also from the Indian government side and also from the Chinese government side. So definitely we are in a position to resolve the issues. So we will look at the strategy involved in dealing with China. We will look at the strategy, what is really working out in dealing with China, and what are the terms we have actually come up with China in reality, that is has really worked, that quiet diplomacy is really working out. So if you look at, we have seen that because of the military engagement and because of the diplomatic engagement, because of the military and diplomatic engagement, since May, I mean, we have seen on May 5th the face off has started, and from then onwards we have seen on June 5th the diplomatic engagement, and June 6th we have seen the military engagement. So military engagement has been taken up at the lieutenant generals from both the sides, that is India and China, and we have seen the diplomatic engagement which has taken place from the external affairs minister from India's side and then the foreign minister from the China. So definitely we have seen the both the engagements are in place, that is the military engagement and the diplomatic engagement, and by this the end result is that we could see that partial disengagement has been taken up at the Galwan value. At the Galwan value, please do look at, not completely we have taken, completely there is what is a partial disengagement along the LAC. No, partial disengagement along the LAC is only at the Galwan Valley, and still the Pyongyang Lake is still the troops are there at the what do you say troops are there at the finger 4, and this finger 4 is the one which is really a cause of concern, because India is having the control from 1 to 4. India is having the control from 1 to 4 fingers, and then China is having the control at 8 finger 8, but it is having the what is a patrol to 4. So that means from finger 8 to finger 2 the Chinese is going ahead with the patrolling, and India has the control till 4, but India has a patrol from 1 to 8, 1 to 8. So definitely it is a bone of contention which is happening between India and China, especially along the Pyongyang lake and especially at the fingers. So there are fingers, how many fingers? That is at the entire Pyongyang lake there are 8 fingers, and the one which is really causing a concern is the finger 4. And we have the conflict areas between India and China, that is the patrolling point 15, patrolling point 17, and then the finger 4 is the one, and then the Nakula Pass, and then the Nakula Pass is the 4 conflict areas, is the 4 conflict areas. Still we are have we I mean both the countries have to resolve the issues, have to resolve the issue. But now, as of now, only the Galwan value, only the area at the Galwan value, wherein the 2 to 2.5 kilometers the Chinese troops have moved away from the LAC, moved away from the LAC, that is which is falling in the eastern Ladakh. But the Nakula Pass, which is in Sikkim, the Pangyong Lake, and also Demchuk, and also the patrolling point 15, 17, and also the finger 4 is the and Nakula Pass along with are the one which is really causing a concern, and still there has to be a solution which has to be worked out to resolve the issue face off or the skirmishes or the standoff between India and China along the LAC. And the first official confirmation, there were ongoing the multiple standoffs along the LAC. Definitely, on June 9th, we have seen that both the countries have moved by going out with official confirmation that they are moving away. And there is the government. We have seen that it is under fire by the opposition, because the opposition in India, opposition is raising concerns about government being silence being on the Chinese troops entering into the Indian territory. Please do understand, there is lot of pressure put forth by the opposition onto the government in India, that the opposition is saying that the Chinese troops have entered into the Indian territory, and they have also gone ahead with tents in installing the tents. So that is a concern what the opposition says. But government is definitely under fire, and it is silence for almost a month standoff. What is a finger? Okay, actually I haven't taken the picture today, but probably I will show it. It is okay. You have this. This is a Pyongyang Lake. Fine, and this at this you have a very high mountains, and high mountains you have this like this. I mean the mountain is fingering the Pyongyang Lake. This is Pyongyang Lake. I'm extremely sorry I haven't taken that picture. Probably tomorrow, at least for sake, I will go ahead with it. So here all these are mountains, but it shows, the finger shows at the Pyongyang Lake. So you have this finger like fingers pointing out. It's a huge mountain. Actually, if you look at the 3D degrees, all these 1, 2, 3, 4 what I have drawn, Satya, are the mountains, and it is pointing the fingers. It is pointing towards the lake. towards the Pyongyang Lake. So this India is having the control from 1 to 4, but it patrols from 1 to 8. 1 to 8. China has the control at 8, finger 8. China has the control, but it patrols from finger 8 to 2. Finger 8 to 2. So this is the China having patrol. So what is the really cause of concern is the finger 4. Finger 4. Finger 4. Fingers are the mountains actually. Very huge mountains. Very huge mountains which these they geographically, geologically, it shows the kind of what you say the fingers pointing at the Pyongyang Lake. I think Satya are getting it. And then David has joined, Madhu has joined. Very good morning to both of you. Very good morning to both of you. And today I'm taking up this article. This is a case for quiet diplomacy. So definitely a diplomacy is in place. Bilateral talks are in place between the India and China standoff, which has started on May 4th. And definitely, as I said, there is a concern. There is a lot of fire by the opposition onto the government that it is silent. So why it is silent, and whether it when it is silent, is it working for the benefit of the nation? That is it trying to make sure that the issue has been resolved? Definitely, it has been. The government is definitely working out various channels. That is in regards to the military engagement, and also in regards to the diplomatic engagement. So definitely the government is under pressure by the opposition that it is silence, and it is not actually coming out with any kind of updates being given to the nation itself. And what is the strategy in dealing with China? So definitely we have seen that the picture or the situation what has emerged on June 9th is that it is a beginning of the process to resolve the situation and not at the end. Please do understand. So it is just a what do you say a beginning of the situation wherein both the countries are trying to resolve the issue, and it is not the end. Why it is not the end? Because I said still the Pyongyang Lake area, there are what do you say the Chinese troops are still there, because both the sides have a broad plan. Have a broad plan in making sure that there could be a situation wherein the solution would come to resolve the issue between India and China. But still, now you have five conflict zones or points, that is, you have, as I said, that patrolling point 15, patrolling point 17, and then Pyongyang Lake, and then also in the Nakula Pass in Sikkim. So these 5 points of discord, that is the issue which is going on is definitely, but the one which is resolved is in the Galwan Valley. So definitely the troops have been partial disengagement of the troops have been taken up in the Galwan Valley, but not in these 5 areas. These 5 areas still the troops are there. And then we can see the Chinese have gone ahead with positioning the tents on the Indian side of the LAC, and this is a major concern, and this is what the opposition is raising the concern against the government, that why the government is not taking this issue seriously, and why it is not dealing it very appropriately, or else why it is not bringing up to the why it is not making it clear open to the nation itself. That is what there is a lot of pressure put forth by the opposition onto the government, but still we can see the government is doing its job in regards to military and diplomatic engagement. And when it comes to Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister is definitely maintaining silence. When he's maintaining silence, that means nothing is going on. It doesn't mean that, but there are still the back channel diplomacy is going on, and that back channel diplomacy is nothing but the quiet diplomacy. Even though the Prime Minister of India is silenced when the opposition is raising concern that the Prime Minister has to bring or has to make it very clear to the nation, but the Prime Minister is still silenced. That means there is a quiet diplomacy which is still in the process. Please do understand, there is a quiet diplomacy which is still in the process, wherein the Prime Minister is still silenced, but the diplomatic engagement and then the military engagement is still going on. And we could see the partial disengagement has taken place, partial disengagement. And this pattern of resolution of past standoffs in the is the underlines the key role played by quiet diplomacy. So definitely, as I mentioned, that the opposition is raising concern. It is, what do you say, firing guns at the government, that it is silenced. No doubt the prime minister is silent, but there is something going on. There is, what you said, some channels are opened up, that the issue is being resolved at different levels, and that is the, what is, that is the quiet diplomacy. That is the channel which is been used by now the government, is the quiet diplomacy in regards to what, in unlocking the complicated standoff situation between India and China. So we have seen that kind of standoffs or face off or skirmishes which has happened not only now, we have seen a past in the Doklam issue, and also again later on in the past also during 2013 also we have seen. So definitely we will look at all that, and what was also a situation or the diplomacy what was used then also. So now, as of now, the key role played, please do understand, the key role played to resolve the issue now is the quiet diplomacy. Why quiet diplomacy? In unlocking the standoff situation between India and China. And we have seen that definitely UPA government and now the India government. Definitely before the India government, it was UPA government which has also found, which has also, what do you say, taken into consideration the same kind of diplomacy what the India government is following, that is the quiet diplomacy. So definitely even the UPA government has also approached the same kind of situation, sorry, through a quiet diplomacy coupled with strong military posture. So definitely we have seen in the past and also now, the kind of situations wherein the China is trying to have its military interventions, or it is trying to enter into our Indian territory across the LAC. We have dealt it even by the previous government, and now the government also through the quiet diplomacy plus a strong military, and then making sure that whatever adversaries are being created by China, we are trying to push it each and every time. But ultimately China is again coming up with the same kind of approach, that it is going ahead with the military military intervention across the LAC, and it is being happening gradually, and they are by going ahead with the military intervention, each and every time, that is at a due interval, that is we have seen in 2013, 2014 and 2017 Doklam, and again 2020. So definitely it is going ahead with the military intervention at regular intervals, and by that what it is doing is slowly or gradually it is taking away, it is grabbing Indian territory, so that is the biggest challenge, and this challenge now has been dealt with the broad strategy, dealing with this broad strategy by India is in regards to dealing the challenges from China across the LAC, and this strategy has generally worked. What is a challenge, what is a strategy? That is the quiet diplomacy, that is a back channel diplomacy or the quiet diplomacy. And then Madhusmita Das has joined, and Naresh has also joined. Very good morning to both of you, Madhusmita, and good morning to Madhusmita. I think this is the first class you are joining, Madhusmita Das. So welcome to my class. It will be very useful in regards to the in-depth analysis of the editorials and articles, which will be certainly useful for you in regards to the mains and also prelims point of view. Good morning to you once again, Madhusmita Das. And we have seen in 2013, as I was saying, that Chinese troops have pitched into the Indian side, and they have also gone ahead with laying the tents on the Indian sides, that is at the Depsang plain. So this in the 2013, it was in the Depsang plains, wherein the Chinese troops have gone ahead with entering into the India's territory, India's side, and they have also pitched tents on the of the LAC or at the India side, that is in the plains called as Depsang Plains. So Depsang Plains. So when we are talking about 2013, that the Chinese troops have entered into the Indian side, that is India's LAC at the Depsang Plains. So definitely, as now we are talking about Pyongyang Lake, Galwan Valley, Demchok, Nakula Pass. So it is very important for you also in regards to the geography map based in regards to the prelims. Please do try to take it into consideration. All the areas that is along the LAC, the issues that is in regards to the plains, the issues in regards to the valley, the issues in regards to the lakes, the issues in regards to the passes, and also the road construction, so do take it into consideration, all this for geography map based for prelims point of view, so in 2013 the Chinese have entered into the Depsang Plains, and then it was UPA government. So how UPA government what has dealt this issue? Definitely UPA government was also under fire by the opposition then, Indian, I mean in India, by the then opposition, was also the UPA government was also under fire, that India, but that the UPA government was very weak on China. So there was a kind of fire by the opposition. I'm talking about in 2013. In 2013, the opposition has fired the UPA government, saying that UPA government is very weak, especially on China, and it is having its some kind of, what you say, reserves or silence towards China incursion into India's territory, so what is that we are trying to look at is what kind of measures, what kind of strategy was used in 2013 or 2014, and that is by the UPA government and then the NDA government. So definitely in the during the 2013, that is the UPA government, the opposition has also fired against the UPA government that it was very weak on China, or it was silent on the Chinese incursion into India side. And who was the national security advisor then? It was Shiv Shankar Menon. Shiv Shankar Menon was the national security advisor to the of the UPA government during the UPA government. And then he has explained recently that how the standoff has been resolved. So definitely there was same kind of, what you say, incursion which has taken place by the Chinese troop into India side in 2013. That is in the Depsang Plains. So if you look at now, this is very important for you in regards to pictorial representation. This is Depsang Plains. So in these plains, the Chinese incursion has taken place in 2013. So this one. So if you look at the blue line, please look at the blue line. Please look at the blue line. This blue line is the one which is the line separating. Please look at it. Which is the line separating between India and Chinese force on 7th September 1962, India-China war. Fine. And the pink or the red line is the line connecting post established by China in 1959. So this is the one. So this is 1959. And the blue one is 1962. And in regards to the points, when we are talking about this point to which Indian patrols have been going up to 1958. So this is here till here, that is in 1958, our Indian patrols were going up to Kwara Thag Pass. So please do take it into consideration. This is one of the pass which could be very important again for geography map based. So till the Kwara Thag Pass, in 1958, the Indian patrols were up to that point. And the yellow one, this is the yellow one, wherein it is Xinjiang Tibet Road 1957. In 1957, this was a road of Xinjiang Tibet Road 1957. And if you look at this dotted lines, which this dotted lines, blue dotted lines, this is the McCartney-MacDonald line 1989 accepted by China until 1959. So this is, what you say, as per 1899, that is McCartney-MacDonald line 1899, which was accepted by China until 1959. Since then it is not accepting. And this yellow line is the one that is this Xinjiang Tibet Road, of which has been demarcated in the year 1957. and this point is this: till here we had a patrol, Indian troops had a patrol till the Kwarathak Pass up till 1958. And the red line which we are talking about, this is the line connecting post established by China in 1959. But if you look at the blue line, that is on the 7th September 1962, the line separating Indian and Chinese forces, this one, the blue line. Fine. And this, the dotted other one, is this, the China's claims of 1960, line of 1960, which is reached in 1962. So if you look at these dotted lines, these colorful dotted lines, is the one which is now actually trying to say that they are having this up to here, the line of what you say, the control, what the China looks at, claims, not looks, claim, China's claim of 1960 when it reached the 1962, the war. So definitely this is very, very important in regards to the geography map based point of view. So when we are talking about only in the Galwan river or the Galwan valley, the troops have been partially disengaged. Partial disengagement have taken place only at the Galwan valley, and this is Pangyong So Lake. So I was drawing this. See, you, Satya, I think you will get the point now. You have these fingers here. One, you can take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost. So these are the fingers which I was talking about. I will show it tomorrow also, again, once again. So these are the fingers at this point. So the Chinas have entered, I mean Chinese troops are almost having the patrol till 2nd, and India has a control up to 8 here. So this, if you look at this pass, is the Karakoram Pass. Please do take it into consideration, all this Karakoram Pass. And this Haji Langar is also an important for, and in regards to the geography map based. And this is Kulnun Range. Kulnun Range, again for geography based point of view. So definitely these are the one which I was talking about, 2013 Depsang Plains. They have entered till these plains in 2013, Depsang Plains. So we have seen that definitely the government, now the government, India government, is being publicly attacked for doing nothing. But if you look at very cleanly, very, what do you say, diplomatically, privately, I mean, I'm talking about the 2013, I'm extremely sorry, 2013, that is the UPA government was definitely under pressure by the opposition, that it was very weak and it was not doing anything. But it was privately, it has privately conveyed to China that the upcoming visit in 2013, the upcoming visit of Premier, that is Li Keqiang, would be off. So definitely there was a kind of situation, the backdoor or back channel diplomacy which was taking place by both the sides, that India has put forth towards China that we would make sure that the upcoming visit, then that the premier, that is the prime minister, premier of the China, would be off. That means we will not accept it. That was the message which was passed quietly, privately by UPA government to China. And because of this, definitely they could resolve this situation in 2013. And that was clearly, what you say, put forth by Mr. Menon, who wrote in the book called his Choices, that is Inside the Making of India's Foreign Policy. Inside the Making of India's Foreign Policy. And he made it very clear that public rhetoric, calm and steady. So public speeches should be calm and steady, displaying strength and giving the adversary in the sense here China, a way out. That means we have to come out with a solution with the advisory, and then we should also make sure that we are displaying our strength, and then also we have to make sure that our public rhetoric speeches should not be aggressive speeches, but it should be calm and steady. So definitely we can win over our adversary, that is our China, and we can definitely come out with a way out or a solution by making sure that we are displaying our military strength. We are going ahead with a public rhetoric, but which the rhetorics are very calm and steady. So definitely we can make sure that we can resolve the issue, or we can come up with the solution in regards to handling the face off between India and China, wherein China is time and again going ahead with the incursion into our Indian's territory. And the same kind of situation has also taken place in 2014. Again, in 2014 also, the China has gone ahead with incursion, and then we have seen that is at the place called as Chumar, at the place called as Chumar also the same kind of incursion has taken place. And then what we have seen that then the President Xi Jinping's visit to India, but then we have seen that almost the entire visit was finalized, and then we could see even then the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi has been very formally accepted or welcomed Mr. Xi Jinping in Gujarat, while there was Chinese troops which have crossed the LAC. I'm talking about 2014, not 2020, 2014. So definitely the situation was different then compared to 2013, because then UPA government has said that we'll go up with off. I mean, that means we'll cut off, or we will make sure that we will not go ahead with the meeting of the Premier Lee Lekyung. But here in this case, in 2014, Xi Jinping has almost, what you say, has been part of the entire visit itself. So we could not make sure that we could cancel the visit. And if you look at that, the Z visit went ahead quietly but forcefully stopped the Chinese road building and deployed 2,500. So definitely here in this case, that is in 2014, we could not really stop the visit of the President Xi Jinping, but we could make sure that we have stopped the roads construction or the construction of the roads and buildings in what you said along the LAC, and also we have deployed 2,500 soldiers, 2,500 soldiers, wherein these 2,500 soldiers have outnumbered the PLAs or outnumbered the PLAs. So definitely a kind of what you say a diplomacy has taken place, that we haven't stopped the Chinese president in the 2014 visiting India, but at the same time simultaneously what we have done quietly is we have gone ahead with stopping the road construction and the building construction by China, and we have deployed 2,500 soldiers, which the 2,500 number has outnumbered, that is more than the Liberation's Army of the Chinese troops. Our troops were more in number, so definitely they have to withdraw. So PLA has withdrawn. The then Northern Army Commander Lieutenant General DS Huda as explained recently how they have gone ahead with the resolving the situation in 2014. So we have the different scenario in 2013 how the then government handled it, and then 2015 how the India government has handled it by deploying more of soldiers. Fine. And then the government if the government has publicly announced the way in 2014 about the moratorium in the sense it is moratorium in the sense some kind of you have suspension or temporary suspension on patrolling in regards to LAC to east tension. So definitely when you're going ahead with the suspension of the Indian troops along the LAC, then it would create a kind of what you say uproar in the sense a kind of a built up pressure onto the government itself, the way the government was under pressure even in 2013 after Dipsang. The issue has been resolved how the suspension of the Indian troops have taken place along the LAC. If at all even in 2014 if it would have been done, then there would have been uproar over the government, that is the India government, the way it has been happened in 2013 after Depsang, that is the Chinese troops moving away from the Depsang plains. But here in this case the suspension of the troops hasn't taken place, but we could see that the troops were still there, and then we could make sure that the Indian troops were in fact being deployed at a very high number, that is 2,500, which has outnumbered the People's Liberation Army. And then in 2013 we could see the Mr. Modi was the Gujarat chief minister, and then he has slammed the government, that is the UPA government. He has slammed the UPA government, asking the time what are the reasons we have pulled back from our own land. So definitely, as I was saying, that in 2013, that is the Depsang Plain, when the Chinese troops have moved away, or else we have got a kind of situation wherein the Chinese would move away from it, then what we have done is, as I have explained, Indian troops have moved away, suspended or moved away from the LAC. So definitely the same question, this question was asked by the then Gujarat Chief Minister, that is Narendra Modi, asking the government, what are the reasons we have pulled back from our own land? So why you are pulling back the Indian troops from the Indian soil itself? So that was the question asked, and that is why in 2014, please do take it into consideration, 2014, the same the Gujarat Chief Minister, who is now the Prime Minister of India, that is Narendra Modi, hasn't gone ahead with suspension of the Indian troops, but he have gone ahead with increasing the number of Indian troops along the LAC, making sure that the same kind of approval that what the UPA government has experienced in 2013 along the Depsing, in regards to the Depsing plan, that is the Chinese incursion into Depsing plan, the same kind of situation, the India government has really handled it very effectively, and it has not pulled out the or suspended the Indian troops. Ultimately, in both the cases, the objective was achieved. What was achieved? To push away the Chinese troops away from the India's territory along the LAC, and China is faced with firm resistance, prevented from changing the status quo. So definitely all the time the China wants to go ahead with changing the status quo. Please do understand, I will explain this status quo. Status quo in the sense the situation, that is the present situation. Status quo in the sense present situation. Why the China wanted to go ahead with always going ahead with the present situation? Because time and again it is having the at given regular intervals, China is incursioning and grabbing a part of land from the India's territory. So whenever it grabs the land, it will say we'll go ahead with the status quo. Status quo in the sense that present situation. That means whatever it has grabbed, it will get into the Chinese territory, and that is what the concern is. Whenever, please do take it into consideration, the word status quo, the key phrase or the keyword which will be very, very useful for you. Moratorium is a suspension, temporary suspension. Satya, moratorium is temporary suspension. You have this word moratorium even in regards to RBI coming up with the moratorium in regards to the loans, wherein it could be home loans, it could be personal loans, or it could be the vehicle loans. Because of the national lockdown, because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, the RBI has come up with the moratorium, 3-month moratorium, that is the temporary suspension of paying the monthly installments, wherein it has extended now up to August 31st. You need not pay the monthly installments. Moratorium is temporary suspension. So I'm just giving you a better understanding how the RBI has also come up with the moratorium, that is in regards to the monthly installments, paying the monthly installments. I think Satya, you are getting it. So now it has been extended. Actually, it was up to July 31st, but it has been extended for another 1 month. So the moratorium is for August 31. This is, I am talking in regards to the RBI's moratorium, that is temporary suspension. So here in this case, moratorium is also temporary suspension. Suspension of what here? Troops, Indian troops. Here in this case, Indian troops. Yeah, Satya. Okay, thank you. And 2017 also we have seen the issue at the Doklam. Doklam is a tri-junction wherein the issue has gone ahead for 72 days. Here in this case, now 2020, it has started on May 5th. So it is just, almost close to 40 days, it is happening. But in regards to 2017, the same kind of situation has taken place, and it was very intense and firing, that the entire situation has gone ahead for 72 days standoff at the Doklam. And this is a, has created a very good, very tense situation between India and China. Whether there would be a war-like situation, the same kind of 1962 between India and China. And then Indian troops have crossed over into Bhutan. To stop the Chinese road construction. Why? Because China always goes ahead with infrastructure development, that is road construction. It always goes ahead with road construction along the LAC, so that it will have its access directly, faster and swiftly whenever a kind of warlike situation goes ahead. And the same is also going ahead with the Pyongyang Lake, Galwan Valley, Demchuk, and also Nakula Pass. The same kind of what you say infrastructure development China is going ahead with now, and the same it has gone ahead with even in the year 2017, that it has gone ahead with a road construction in the territory which India sees as Bhutanese, but China claims. So definitely, the road construction was taking place in the Bhutan, which India sees at is, but China claims that area. So definitely, there is a situation standoff even in 2017 we have seen, and that was at the strike junction between India, Bhutan, and Tibet, China, and that was the Doklam Plateau, and that was in the Chumbi Valley. The valley which we call is Chumbi Valley, and now what we are seeing is Galwan Valley again, Galwan Valley also. So definitely 2013, 2014, 2017 we have seen gradual kind of what you say incursion happening, and then India has argued that China was unilaterally going ahead with the construction in the India, Bhutan, China, because we have the treaty with Bhutan in regards to 1970s treaty or India Bhutan friendship treaty. We have that the Bhutan, whatever external aggression takes place, India will get into the military or its troops, and then it will support the Bhutan. So definitely India says that, or India has argued that it was China was going ahead unilaterally altering the India Bhutan China tri-junction. So that was the argument which has been taken up by India against China in 2017 in regards to the Doklam issue, and then in turn Beijing has demanded an unconditional withdrawal. So look at it, India has argued here, India has argued that China is taking a unilateral situation and altering the India Bhutan China tri-junction, but Beijing has demanded an unconditional withdrawal from India side, so definitely it was a great what do you say a face off which was taking up between India and China. And then we have seen very late a deal has been struck between India and China, and India has withdrawn first. Please do understand that a deal was struck and then India has withdrawn, and when Indian troops have been withdrawn first, and China then stopped the construction. So definitely from India's troops have withdrawn, and then China has gone ahead with stopping the construction or infrastructure development. So look at it, the Indian troops have withdrawn. So if you look at now, consider this with 2013 when the Depsang plain, when what do you say Indian troops have withdrawn. Again in 2014 we have seen that the Indian troops did not withdraw, but we have increased the number up to 2,500 soldiers. But again in 2017 at the Doklam, India has withdrawn first. India is withdrawing first, and then China then stops construction, and the status quo at the face of state was restored. So what is status quo? As I said, present situation. So whatever the present situation is, according to that they will be what is moving away, and then the face of site has been restored. And definitely we have seen politics in India in regards to the border standoffs, and it is not new, what is happening between India and China, and both the governments or whichever political party will be in opposition, definitely there are politics being taken up in regards to India China standoff. And we have seen that kind of political debates even in the early 60s, that is the 1962, the war between India and China. We have also seen the kind of political debates or politics which has taken place between politics which have been taken place between the government and the opposition political party in opposition in regards to India-China face-off, or then in 1960s the India-China war, and the opposition and the media. So what is important is the opposition and media are certainly right to hold the government to account. So definitely the author is saying the opposition and the media do have a crucial role in trying to make sure that to hold the government accountable. So definitely the government should come out with a clear measures or clear explanation that what is the situation and what is the condition, and how the government is actually trying to take up the issue between India and China. It could be UPA government or it could be India government. Any government which is in power has a responsibility to come out with answering or at least to come, if not answering the opposition, but if not answering the opposition or to the media, it has to at least address to the nation and then make the nation understand what is the real situation, what is the right situation, what is the exact situation. So here, so this is a tri-junction, and this is the Doklam Plateau. This plateau is the Doklam Plateau, fine, and this is the Nathula Pass, and you have the Nakula Pass here, fine, and then this is the Chumbi Valley, Chumbi Valley, fine, and then you have the military, I mean Indian troops here and the Chinese camp here. So definitely we have the mountain brigade and then mountain brigade if deployed. So both have been together to make sure that they have handle the situation very firmly then. And now if you look at the passes I will take up, this is the Nathula Pass, this is Jalipla Pass, this is Batangla Pass. All these are very very important, please do understand. This is the Dokla Pass, and Gipmochi, this is very very important. Gipmochi is a place, or it's a mountain area wherein the we say the north of the Gipmochi is the Indian side, wherein the China claims that the south of the Gipmochi is the Chinese claim. So definitely Gipmochi, this is again very important for conceptual understanding and also in regards to the geography map base. Gipmochi is very very important, and this is the Doklam area. And then if we look at Dokla Pass, Batangla Pass, Jelipla Pass, and then Nathula Pass, this is in the Sikkim state, fine. And then if you, I mean the geography map base, there could be from north to south. Arrange the following passes at the northeast of the Sikkim, bordering the China or the autonomous Tibet autonomous region, the Nathula Pass, Jelipla Pass, Bathangla Pass, Dokla Pass. So north is Nathula Pass, south of Nathula Pass is Jelipla Pass, south of Jelipla Pass is Bathangla Pass, and south of Bathangla Pass is Dokla Pass. Please do take it into consideration for geography map based. It could be that from north to south. And look at it, this is Chumbi Valley, this is Chumbi Valley, and this is Siliguri. And why in 2017 India was very much worried about the Chinese troops here? Because if any kind of situation arises that they have this entire control of the Chumbi Valley or the Gipmochi mountain, so definitely if at all, if there is any kind of warlike situation and if it takes control of the Siliguri corridor, so this chicken neck of West Bengal is called as Siliguri corridor. And if it takes the control of Siliguri and if it cuts this area, so this is the chicken neck wherein India has the access to the entire northeastern states. All the 7 states, we have this only route, Siliguri corridor. And if at all, I'm just saying, if it takes control of this Siliguri corridor, then all the northeastern states will be under the control of China. So that is why Doklam was very very important, and when it went on for almost 72 days. 72 days it went on for. And why we were worried about? Because of the Siliguri corridor. You call it as this as Siliguri corridor, which is chicken neck of the West Bengal, which again has the route to Sikkim and then to the northeastern states. So that is why the issue of 2017 Doklam is very very important. And then Faika Nargis has joined. Very good morning to you, Faika Nargis. I'm taking up the issue that is in regards to the quiet diplomacy, which is part of the foreign policy, and I would be taking up daily at 10:15. Faika Nargis, I'll be taking up daily 10:15 the in-depth analysis of the articles or editorials, which will be very very useful for the prelims point of view. And then we will come up with what are the various terms that we are coming to terms with reality. So definitely now if you look at every incident, whatever is happening is definitely increasingly being politicized. Why? Because of the social media. Now we can see that many of these situations are being politicized, and that is the reality. And which rather than wish away this reality. So what is the reality? Because of the social media, everything will be politicized, and when everything is politicized, definitely the government has some kind of, what do you say, reason to bring it to the notice of the media, not to the social media, but to the media. What is the importance, or what is the status of the face off between India and China also, and then come to terms. And what is the first term is keep the opposition informed. Please do understand. So first and foremost, what terms the government of India has to take it into consideration is that first of all it has to keep the opposition informed. It all depends upon whether the government feels it feels that it has to inform opposition or no. It is up to it, but it is always better, because if it is not informing, then it becomes increasingly politicized. That is very important. And the other one is proactively engage the, along with the opposition, even the media, so that the people, by the media itself, the entire country will get to know what is actually happening, so that the media will not also, what do you say, as per it will not go ahead with speculating or exaggerating the situation. So it is very important for the government of India to inform the media or inform the nation also, so that the media will not go ahead with speculating the situation what is going on between India and China in regards to the face off, that is along the LAC. And at the same time, expectations of having public debate about the intricacies of every border standoff for Prime Minister is, what is, very hard. So definitely the Prime Minister has to make sure that it should not get into a public debate, but rather the Prime Minister of India, or the India's Prime Minister, has to make sure that it goes ahead with a situation, that it is giving an information, so that the information will not be speculative or exaggerated through the media, and the nation will get the wrong information. Rather than that, the Prime Minister has to make sure that there is no public debate, but rather a right information has to be passed. And if it is not, then it will be a risk that we would, I mean, there would be more of tensions. Rather than creating tensions, they have to resolve any kind of situation which is actually, what you say, creating lot of disturbances within India. And then the Chinese, or the China media, or the China government should not feel that in India the government and then the opposition are fighting. Please do understand, the government and the opposition are fighting against each other. That message should not be sent to Chinese media or the Chinese government. So rather, it is very important that the Prime Minister of India to take into consideration that he informs or he, what do you say, brings to the notice of the government that everything is fine. And then the main objective is to make sure that there should not be a political debate. They should not get lost into the political debate. There should not be political debate, but it should be India's security interest. What has to be protected is India's security interest, and not getting into political debate. And all this will take place through quiet diplomacy plus military engagement, strong military engagement, plus the government, that is the Prime Minister, informing the nation about the whereabouts of what is happening across the LAC, so that the media will not speculate, the media will not exaggerate the situation, the opposition will not take, what you say, situation into its control and then make lot of political debates or public debates, but rather quiet diplomacy with, what you say, supreme military engagement. And then the nation's, India's security interest has to be protected by making sure that it is passing out the right information at the right time to the nation. And the conclusion is quiet diplomacy coupled with plus strong military will resolve the Chinese misadventures. So definitely China is going ahead with, time and again I said, it is trying to go ahead with incursion into our India's territory, and then slowly or gradually it is grabbing the India's territory, and that has to be deterred, or it has to be handled more effectively than public debate, even if we are inhabiting a media environment. So definitely, even though, what you say, media is part of it, that misconstrues, that is misinterprets loudness as strength. So definitely, if the government is not really coming up with the message or to the nation or to the media, so definitely media will misconstrue it, misinterpret it, that the loudness as strength and silence as weakness. So definitely the quiet diplomacy should not be only quiet, but with strong military engagement and with keeping in view, keeping in mind the India's national security, India's nation's security. So definitely the government has to make sure that it very clearly states the importance of being silent, but at the same time passing on the information to the media and to the nation that what actually is going at the LAC and how we are dealing the Chinese troops at the LAC. That is very, very important. And the question for you for the day is, I think Fabia is also joined. Fabia, you can also take this question for day, that past incidents have shown that quiet diplomacy coupled with strong military. Past incidents. So definitely we have looked at past incidents, that is from 2013, 2014, and then 2017, and now 2020. So this is very, very important in regards to the mains point of view. Past incidents have shown that quiet diplomacy coupled with, as I said, strong military engagement, resolve that deters any Chinese adventures has been effective than public sabre rattling in the sense like going ahead with a kind of a display threat or rhetoric speech or public debates. Rather than that, it is very important that quiet diplomacy along with strong military is very, very important, and then passing out the right information at the right time to the nation, that is for the sake of the national security, and that the question is explained. I repeat, past incidents have shown that quiet diplomacy coupled with strong military resolve that deters any Chinese misadventures have been more effective than public debates. Explain. Very, very important. And I think now at the end of the session, almost 1 hour, you are in a position to write this answer very effectively, because we have seen 2013, 2014, 2017, and then 2020 how the governments then, how the opposition then in 2013, and also in what you say opposition in 2014 and opposition in 2017 and opposition in 2020 are making a lot of concerns, or they are going out with the public debates and then putting a lot of pressure onto the government that what is the government doing. So definitely these kind of things will be in regards to the political debates, but for us in regards to, for you all in regards to the civil's point of view, that is in regards to the mains point of view, the question, you please take down the question and then make sure that you are writing the answer for this question, and which will be very, very, very important in regards to the our quiet diplomacy, which is part of India's foreign policy, so it could be a question in the IR, international relations, general studies paper 1. If you consider, if you are excluding general essay as paper 1 and only paper 1 as IR, then in the paper 1 you will get the question that is in regards to the IR, international relations, under the India's foreign policy in regards to the quiet diplomacy. So I hope this was very, very important, informative, and I know that you are very well equipped in regards to writing the answer. So definitely go ahead with writing the answer, and also do like the video, share the video, subscribe the video, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English, and then do subscribe for 12 months and 24 months, whichever is appropriate to you, and then make sure that you subscribe with using my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10. You will get 10% discount while you use my code for subscribing for 12 months and 24 months also. And if you haven't downloaded the Unacademy Learners app, do download and then be part of the Unacademy special classes, wherein you can have access to various courses by various educators. Do take this also, and then have access to UPSC CSE English in 10 minutes channel also, and the Telegram link is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. And then I would thank you and all the best for all of you in regards to the prelims 2020 as well as prelims 2020, and also mains 2021 and mains prelims 2020 also. And you can also connect to me in regards to my Telegram link, that is t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT, t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT. And you can also message to my number, that is WhatsApp number 9292000311. You can WhatsApp to my number, that is you can message to my WhatsApp number if you have any doubts in regards to the subject or in regards to the preparation civil services preparation, you can message to my number, that is to WhatsApp number 9292000311, and then see you tomorrow again at 7:30 a.m. in regards to the analysis of the Hindu newspaper, and later on again at 10:15 a.m. in regards to now the session what we have taken, that is in regards to the analysis, in-depth analysis of the Hindu editorial. So I would be in the YouTube twice a day, that is morning 7:30 a.m. once, and then again 10:15 a.m. the second time, that is in regards to the editorials and articles. And thank you, all the best, and do not forget to use my code while you are subscribing, that is SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10. Thank you and all the best for your preparation. Do take care of your health, maintain proper diet, and then have consistency in regards to following your schedule for the preparation. Thank you. See you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.